Wassail. So this morning I woke and a very dear special friend in Canada, hello Nicola, we chat a lot and we work through spiritual blockages, notions, philosophies, and today between us we had a bit of an epiphany, and I feel like I've got to come in and work this epiphany through in a card reading, but using a series of Lenormand cards for some reason, I'm being told. So the epiphany is to do with the sacral. Yesterday I had this huge hole in my sacral, and it felt empty, and it's got to be emptied out. It's got to be emptied out. Lots of the readings have been saying you've got to empty this out because it's time to refurnish the sacral with self-love. Now, it's all very well. We throw all these things out and we go, oh, no more self-loathing, self-love. And I've done that gateway portal video. But the thing is, you cannot get towards your spiritual pathway, towards source energy, if you do not have your sacral working. It's the seat to your emotions, and we talk about how it's where the divine feminine resides, but the divine feminine is preparing to pass all the way through us finally and go into the earth. Now, if you do not love yourself, you are giving a criticism of source, because source made you. So if you don't love yourself, you cannot love source properly. And this is why you have to do shadow work. This is why you have to fix yourself. And this new gateway portal that's opening on the 3rd of the 3rd, the Ninlil, the Babylonian goddess of the wind, her divine masculine counterpart, or maybe her raw masculine counterpart, but her male counterpart was Enlil, who was originally the god of gods. And he separated heaven and earth, and he was so divine that almost no other gods could look at him. And then over time he changed, and other gods like Marduk surpassed him in the pantheons of the different religions. But so Ninlil, and this card is now representing Ninlil, she's coming down now on the 3rd of the 3rd, 2020, to create a new portal to help us earth ourselves, but she's going to pull back in the energies of the separation between masculine and feminine to draw them in together so that we can exist in a new space. And it's a new space that leads openly into the community. So I'm going to pop Ninlil back into the deck. Oh look, Blade is on the bottom, and this morning I found the most beautiful flint blade sitting at my feet as I fed the pigeons. You see, we're on a divine path already. So, let's just see. We don't want masses of messages from these. We just want a couple of messages to set up this sacral system. Actually, before I do that, sorry, loud banging, the bell. So that was a perfect example of the sacral. I know it's an E flat and it's dealing with livers, kidneys and spleen. It's a cleansing energy, but I struck it with such joy to start with, and then the second two I missed, and I fired with, I struck it with absolute timidity, and that's kind of the shadow work aspect of what we do. So before we begin, I'm actually going to hum a couple of Ds, maybe 1, 2, we'll see. It's very difficult in this room to maintain a D because it wants to flatten, and I do need to flatten it a little to bring it in the body, but let's see what happens. So we'll get the D. Steaming my glasses up. So now, Let's see, Bladen Journey. Oh, missed again. You see, that is going to be the theme. Is trying to do the work on the sacral and misfiring. This is about building up the truth of your self-love. Look, huge blocks are falling out. It's like that's the hole that we need to create in our sacral. That space inside the Andean cross to connect with source. But you're not going to connect to source if you don't self-love. There's a couple of cards there, but I'm not sure whether they want them. Guys, spirit guides are not saying pick them up. I will have a look at them. Shh, I need to focus. So please, give us an expression in the cards for this sacral. Something else spun over inside there, and we've got to spin over, and now it's hiding. This is tricky work. Where's it gone? That's so weird. I definitely saw a card flip. Where are you? No, it's gone. It's hiding. Okay, so, oh look, there's loads. I don't want this many cards. Tame the Wind. I'm just going to say Tame the Wind. You've got to tame the wind. 5-5. Tame the wind. 55 is the master number of the new earth. We're getting standstills, circles, geometric shapes, the reaching out to the community, but it is the circle of the energy portal. We've got 5052 amongst those cards. These are just opening. Oh, look. She came back. She came back to say it's time to tame the wind. Everything has to change. I'm not reading deeply into these because this is about Lenormand, and I'm just going to sneak a peep at the two that came out that they said don't look at. Why did you say not look at them? Oh, okay, so that I would shuffle these extra ones. So the two that came out immediately are 3-3, Magic, and the Hummingbird. The magic of the heart chakra is how you combine the two heart chakras, and that allows the energy through. So it's about clearing out more than just the sacral. It's a clearing out process of all of our emotional energy centers, not our physical ones so much, but emotional energy centers. I mean, they're all emotional, but anyhow, so let's see. We're going to start with the first Lenormand deck, which is a little bit overexcited, and it had Rider, something new coming in, just flew out. So, what do we have, please, Lenormand? Oh, Rider's back. Okay, so 113 or 131. Rider and Child. You have to come in as a warrior for yourself, and you have to fix. I don't want to say inner child. I want to say you have to find a new frequency which becomes your inner child. The frequency that you were when you were made, your divine frequency. That's part of this sacral fixing. And then you have Tower and Letter. Oh, that's so beautiful. So Tower is to be trapped, to caught in a space of the 3D world, of everything that made you up to this point in life. And then Letter is how you need to rewrite yourself. So to perform shadow work on yourself. I'm going to ask for two more as another pair, please. Oh, we got three. So we have, singularly, we have Dog, which is loyalty, but that's loyalty to you, loyalty to your truth. So that you can then curl up like a dog and sleep comfortably. And that links very much in with that original frequency. A dog is completely honest. You always know what a dog thinks. So that's very important to put yourself back into that frequency. And then you have house and garden. Sounds like a kind of posh magazine for people living on the fringes of London. So home is to have a space. It's your sacred space. You've got to rebuild your sacred space and bring that sacred space out into garden. Garden is public. It was the pleasure gardens. So it's to come back into the world full of pleasure, okay? So now we're going to take the next Lenormand deck. Can we please have some information from this Lenormand deck? How many is that? Oh, interesting. Okay, so that's really fabulous. So we have Clover is luck, but Clover in this respect is saying to you it's time to bring yourself into balance. It originally was the Six of Diamonds. Bring yourself into balance, plant new seeds to create the new version of you in the future. And then we have Tower and Garden again. So coming out of your tower and coming back out into the public is clearly the key message. And here we have another 6 to find balance, and we have an 8, which is the abundance of the garden, the 8 of spades. So these are both spades. These are to bring yourself into the earth, to earth yourself. So this building of a new sacred space for you within the hidden space behind you is really important. So as I said, Clover is about planting new seeds. And then we have Man and 2 women. So the card of Man and the card of women. I'm going to bring Man round so that he actually looks at the women. So what I'm getting from these is how our male energy is transforming, as we know, within the earth grid. We're going from raw masculine through emotional masculine towards divine masculine. These 2 cards, and neither of them represents either side, but they're the 2 extreme ends of the feminine energy. So the raw feminine and the divine feminine. And seriously, this raw feminine energy is coming up an awful lot now. So let's take the third Lenormand deck and see what we have to deal with raw femininity. What's the story of raw femininity? Okay, so we have Scythe, Rider again, so bringing something new in. And this time Rider's on a magical unicorn and it's almost trampling on this Kundalini snake down at the bottom. We have Mouse. Mouse is to do with anxieties. So I'm understanding from this card that aside from the fact that it's Year of Metal Rat and this card has recently come to represent new fortunes coming in, it's the fear of the divine feminine. We're not allowed to even discuss the subject of not divine feminine, raw femininity. This is the fear of raw femininity. It's the fear of all femininity for some, particularly men, but it's coming, and it's time now to harvest all aspects of the feminine, raw, emotional, and divine femininity. Pop it onto your wagon and march yourself off to the market to make good into the public pleasure gardens that the other card represents. So what else can you tell me about the raw feminine? What else can you tell me, please, about the raw feminine? What else can you tell me, please, about the raw feminine? We've got clover again, planting seeds. The thing about clover is, clover's seen as little luck, but actually, clover's something that you plant, and once it's in the ground, it never goes away. You can't, unless you dig up the entire ground and throw everything away, you can't do anything about it. It's time now to plant the seeds of the raw feminine. And then you have ring with the beautiful magpies. It's a single magpie, but it's two aspects of the self. So again, this is representing both the raw feminine and the divine feminine, but also the balance between the two sides of our masculine and feminine to move forward. But it's a union. It's time to bring that forwards, to move into the sunshine, the bliss, the happiness, you know. And look, we've got the Egyptian pyramids there, and they are saying to me that I need to give these little tiny cards that still bring me such fear, because I'm always not sure I can read them. But anyway, so the hieroglyphs, please. I have to concentrate so hard on these, so give me a moment with them. Oh my goodness, I mean, I've shuffled and played with these so much. It's kind of, we're being given first of all a card that's very similar to the Fool, to have a leap of faith and being drawn back and breaking free of the bondage that has been holding us throughout the age of Pisces, and waving goodbye to the age of Pisces and marching on. And then we have, this came in the reading yesterday, this card, and so did one of the others. So this is taking your two halves, your male and female half, and bringing them together to create the new you, to create the original frequency of child. So your birth, well, your pre-birth frequency really is what it is. It's your pre-birth frequency. It's your divine blueprint tune within the sacral. And then you have earthing your raw femininity into the earth, so that your divine femininity can use this pole to come down. Here is the divine feminine lotus. It's being brought down. This is about uploads, and they're going to task me now even more. I didn't want to go this deep. So you're planting yourself, balance, making space for your divine feminine to come down because you've connected your raw feminine, and then everything in life will start to bloom. Here is the new feminine energy, and all of the flowers are coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She has 7 flowers, and that's a number of huge luck. So uploads. What deck do you want me to use for uploads? To go back to the shamanic, but there's so many cards missing from it. No, okay. With the cosmic, we're coming in at the cosmic. So, oh, there's one already up the wrong way in there. Emotional challenges, no shit. So, I'm going to rifle them first. So, uploads. Uploads don't work until the raw femininity enters the earth. Oh, I didn't know that. Apparently that's true. So, uploads. How do these uploads work? How do these uploads work? I'm not taking those, they didn't fall. These fell. Right, so 4 cards, and I'm going to try and read the message from these 4 cards. So, a spiritual evolution, set your heart free. And that goes back to that magical frequency of the heart being you, the aquamarine version of the heart frequency, not the pink and the green, two separate lower and higher heart frequencies. So this spiritual evolution of setting your heart free will allow you to ground your light, will allow you to pull your raw femininity into the earth. Okay? Raw femininity, remember people, it's a beautiful thing. And this will bring about that intimacy between the two halves of your energy, because you can bring it into the earth. And again, it's talking about your retreat, which is from the first two Lenormand decks, 420. So get yourself a big fat 420 and you'll find your sacred retreat. So, well, yeah, I'm sorry, it just makes me laugh sometimes. So, yeah, you have to create your sacred space, but your sacred space has to be created with self-love within your sacral. That's how this works. Okay, I can't concentrate now, so I'm gonna leave this sacral story just there right now. And if that's your connection, then just know that it's a plant medicine, but don't overdo it. Okay, wassail.